This is the LEVOIT OasisMist 10,000S Smart Humidifier. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about this, and I'm going to tell you why this humidifier has now replaced every other humidifier that we own. Here's a close-up look at the humidifier itself. As you can see, it's got a really cool, sleek design. Now, this is not something you're going to set on your bedtime nightstand. It's very tall. In fact, from the floor, now this is on a table, this is not on the floor, it's not as tall as I am. It is about 28 and a half, almost 28 and a half inches tall. So this is a big unit. The cool thing about it being a big unit is that this holds 10 milliliters of water, and it lasts a really long time. In fact, at the right setting, this can run for up to 100 hours on just having one full tank. We fill this thing up once every 3 or 4 days because we want to make sure that it always has water in it, but it'll last several days. The old humidifiers that we had, the kind you set, right next to the bed on your nightstand, we had to refill those every single day. Because of its large size, this will add humidity to a room up to 600 square feet. Our bedroom is pretty large, so we also wanted something big enough to fill that entire room. My wife is a professional singer, and we are in Nevada, Las Vegas, so it's very, very dry. So it's super important that her voice be moisturized, especially as she's sleeping at night. This thing puts out a massive amount of humidity into the air, and it's cool mist, which is better if you're a singer or a speaker. It has a really nice base, and the base, in case while you're pouring water into the top, which I'll show you in a minute, if it happens to leak, there is a drainage hole here. So what we tend to do is we set this on top of a little towel because sometimes when we fill it, we make a mistake and we have some drippage going, and we don't want the carpet to be wet underneath this. So we will either set it onto a towel or onto some kind of a small tray just to be safe. Transporting this is super easy. As you can see, there are little holes here in the side for your fingers, and picking it up, how much water do we have in there right now? 5 milliliters right now. You can see it's very easy to lift up, especially if you're not lifting it above your head like I am. But if you're picking it up like this, very easy to move around the room. A really cool feature that this has is that you can actually add essential oils so that you can have the mist smell really nice and fill up the entire room with a certain scent. We like to use lavender. If you're going to add a scent, you always want to only put it in here. Never mix a scent or any kind of oil with the water because that's going to cause damage to the unit. Now, to get access to this, when I first got it, I could not figure out how to open this up until I read the little line that's written right there that says push. So if you push, this pops open, and right there, you can put your essential oils right in there. You push it back into place, and you're good to go. One mistake you don't want to make is when you fill this up with water, some people will be tempted, if you don't read the directions, is to take this piece off, and now inside of here is the water tank. You don't want to dump water directly into that water tank. What you want to do is open this lid on top and then dump your water inside. You do not want to dump water into that center area right there. That is where the mist is going to come out. You want to dump it on the outer edge. I very highly recommend only using distilled water or at least purified water for this unit. Anytime you have a machine that takes water and it uses a lot of water, distilled water, I think, is the way to go. Purified water at the very least. If you use tap water with this, it's not going to last as long. However, if you do get buildup, which you will, even with distilled water, over time, you're going to want to clean this unit. The directions will tell you step by step how to do that. It's very easy to do. All you need is white vinegar and some water. Super easy to take care of. Once you've filled it with water, you're just going to plug it into a regular electric outlet. And then to power it on, you just simply hit the power button right here, and the whole thing will turn on. Now you can adjust the angle at which the mist comes out of. So if you want it spraying perhaps away from your face, or maybe even towards your face, if you like that, you can change the way that this shoots out. If you want to change the intensity, you simply press this button right here, and you can see every time I press that button, more and more vapor comes out of the top. Because this is a smart humidifier, that means that you can actually connect this unit to your home Wi-Fi. And if you have Alexa, you can control it by Alexa. So you can just say, Hey, I don't want to, I'm sorry, if you have Alexa at home and I just set it off, I apologize. That happens to me all the time. You can just say, person whose name starts with an A, turn on humidifier, and you can set it that way. We don't use Alexa that much. What we do tend to do is use the app. So we'll go into the app, and as you can see here, we can set the exact humidity level that we want. You can set the timer if you press this button over here to the right. Now, all of those things can be done manually by pressing these buttons at the top. You'll notice that the LCD display can be very bright. So during the day, that's great because you can easily see it. But at nighttime, if you want your room to be in complete darkness, don't worry, there is a nighttime button. When you press that button, the machine quiets down and this whole screen will completely shut off, leaving your room completely dark, ready to sleep. You can also set this to an automatic mode where it'll turn on at a certain time and turn off at a certain time. That way, if you're away from your home and when you get home, you're going to go to sleep and you want the room to be ready and humidified, you can have this set that way. Or again, you can do it from the app because of course this is connected to your home Wi-Fi. When it comes time to clean the unit, it's super simple to take this apart. The first thing I like to do is remove this top lid, and then this whole section here just lifts up. Now I've got a lot of water in here right now, so it's probably going to leak if I tilt this over. But so this comes out here so you can clean the entire water tank, and this unit here can be removed so you can easily put this into your sink and wash it as well. Now we're going to do a loudness test. So this is on right now. I have it on the lowest setting. If you look up here, you can see some of that mist coming out against my hand. I'm going to hold this microphone right up to it so you can hear it, and I'll stop talking. So it's just a little bit of a hum. It's not enough to bother me when I'm sleeping at all. If I go up in the levels, which I'll do now, and I won't talk so you can hear the difference, I'll keep the mic right next to it, and here we go. So that is on the highest level. You can see there's a whole bunch coming out now. But as you can tell, even with the microphone right next to it, this thing is very quiet. I love the look and design. I think this looks really cool in our bedroom. It doesn't take away from anything. It kind of looks like a little piece of art, in my opinion. So who is the LEVOIT OasisMist good for? I think this is good for anyone who needs to humidify a larger scale room. If you have a very small bedroom, you might get away with using one of those small bedside ones. If you have a large bedroom, then this thing is perfect. If you happen to live in the desert like I do, this is a must-have, especially if you're someone who uses their voice. My wife's a singer. I'm a speaker / magician, so I use my voice all the time. This is a lifesaver for someone like me. Also, if you have a lot of plants in your house, this will keep the air humid and help your plants to grow better without drying out. And if you're someone who likes to control things from a smartphone or an app, this thing's amazing. Again, you can use it, you can do it everything manually, but I like to use that little app. Who is this thing not for? Well, if you want to have one of these on a little nightstand, this thing's too tall. It's going to look very awkward sitting on top of your nightstand. And if you're laying in your bed, it's going to be way up above your head. If you put this on the floor, it's at the perfect height for me to put that moist air right around bed height. This is also not for someone who wants to have warm mist, because the mist that comes out of this machine is a cool mist. For my purposes, I prefer a cool mist. Now let's do a pros and cons. The number one pro for this is the size of the tank. 10 liters lasts forever, days, which is amazing. It's so nice not to have to constantly add water to your humidifier. The next pro is the long runtime. This thing will go up to 100 hours. That does depend on the intensity that you set it at. So if you have this going at a super high humidity on full blast, of course, it's not going to last that long. But if you have it on a lower maintenance load mode without tons of this steam shooting out, just a little bit, it can last up to 100 hours. That's impressive. The next pro is that you can control it from your app. You can also control it from Alexa. Another pro is that it's very easy to fill this up from the top, especially if you have this on the floor. You lift that off, you dump the water, easy peasy. The next pro is that this is perfect for a bigger sized room. You're not going to get good results with a small humidifier if you have a large area to cover. And finally, the best pro is that you don't have to fill it every single day. Now let's go over the cons. The first con is that this thing is big. You can see it's tall and it's going to take up some space. So if you don't have a spot in your house or in the room that you want to put it in, that could be a problem. The next con is that it only puts out cool mist. You can't switch to a warm or hot mist, but in my opinion, that doesn't matter. The next con is this will need regular cleaning, but every humidifier that I've ever owned needs regular cleaning. If you don't, you're gonna notice that when you take it apart, if you take your finger and touch the inside, it's going to feel slimy. You don't want that. As soon as you have any kind of slime buildup, it's time to clean. And the last con is that you're going to need to continually buy distilled or at least purified water. Unless you have like a reverse osmosis system in your home, putting regular tap water into this is not a good idea. So trips to the store is going to happen. So my final take is that for a smaller room, this might be overkill. But if you have a big room and you want it to be very well humidified, this thing is perfect. We love it. We've been using it for a couple weeks now, and we are not using our other humidifiers at all anymore. This thing's fantastic, and I highly recommend it. If you'd like to grab one of these, there is a link in the description below. Please click like on this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.